What inspired the content for you?
Well, the film was actually inspired because I was born and raised in Milwaukee. However, I had the opportunity right after college to attend, no, right after high school to attend college on the West Coast at Santa Clara University. So I left. Here I am, a Midwest girl moving out to the West Coast. However, when I returned to work in Chicago, but actually ended up working in Milwaukee and in detouring news and kind of bounced back between states, moved back out to California. But with all of my transitioning between different jobs in the entertainment world, I noticed, unfortunately, that there was very negative statistics that were coming out about what was happening in the Black community in Milwaukee. And I noticed that I wanted to be able to tell what was the stories behind some of those statistics, because unfortunately, it's being said that Milwaukee is one of the worst places for Blacks to live, economic disparities, education, unfortunately, the highest incarceration rate for Black and Brown males. So, all of these things. But I wanted to be able to tell the story behind the statistics and look at it from a youth perspective. So, I set out to do exactly that. And so, I'm super excited that it's on a platform that can reach people nationally on HBO MAX.
So, what about the people in the film? I know you were following a certain group of youth. How did you already have a relationship with them? How did you find those specific people?
So actually, it happened exactly as it needed to when we started the actual production, because we were actually in pre-production for about 2 years prior to us receiving funding to actually get started. So at that moment when we received the funding, I was able to put out fillers. Or I hate to say casting calls, but to youth-based organizations in the Milwaukee area to see exactly, if I can get introduced to different youth and who would be willing to be transparent and allow us to follow them and learn about them and their story and their truths. And so exactly when we did that, that's when I was introduced to the three young individuals that I filmed with, which was two males and one female at the time that had actually just turned 18, but the other youth was under the age of 18 at that time.
Give us a little bit of background on the story. Who are this youth that we're talking to or that we're watching?
Okay, so we were able to follow three Black inner city youth in the city of Milwaukee to basically figure out what they were doing, how their lives are panning out as they grow up in the inner city in Milwaukee, and as they actually fight day in and day out not to become another statistic. So the first gentleman that you're introduced to into the film, his name is Marquel. At the time when we started filming, he was 16. And basically he was figuring out who he was as a teenager. He was battling situations with his mom and also not trying to rebel against her house rules and fighting to, not become another number just in the streets. We also filmed with Brandon, who was 16. And with him, he was just actually getting released from the detention center. He had just got in trouble with the law, basically on the verge of 3 strikes. You're probably going to get tried as an adult. He entered the group home system, and that's when we were introduced with him, because he's basically just trying to figure out where his life is going without getting that extra strike. So we were able to introduce mentors and different individuals to him as he figured out his next step as he entered the group home system. And then lastly, we had our lady of the group, which name is Tiana. And she was 18 when we started filming. And interestingly, she also had just aged out of the group home system. She was pregnant when she was 13, had her child when she was 14. So she was basically still trying to figure herself out. Unfortunately, her son was taken from her before she aged out of the group home system. And she was basically just trying to find her way in the world, as well as remain in contact with her son. My hope when I created the film was, once again, to go behind the stories of the statistics, and then also to let everyone know, either locally in the Midwest or even nationally, that all hope wasn't lost for the Black youth that's in some of these inner cities. That unfortunately, there are a lot of things that are happening. There are a lot of challenges, a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, but yet there are people, which also is explored in the film, that are helping in the city of Milwaukee and across other cities to help change the narrative of what's being told on the media, to let us know that once again, all hope isn't lost, and that they're working day in and day out to change the narratives.
So obviously, Milwaukee has some really great things about it. Can you maybe enlighten us? Tell us what are maybe five of your favorite things about growing up Milwaukee?
Well, I love that you asked that question because I love describing myself as a big city girl with a Midwest heart because I was raised and born in Milwaukee. However, I had the opportunity to kind of travel around to different states, but home always reminded me, once again, we are the dairy state. So I love ice cream. I love cheese. So, I mean, we're the cheese heads. So I love that aspect of Milwaukee and our love for sports. Like we go hard, whether that's the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks. I'm always rooting for the home team. I'll probably even be on the moon, but yet I'll be repping something from Wisconsin. And then also our festivals. We have amazing, and also like Chicago, we have amazing outside festivals. We have Summerfest, which I was a huge fan of growing up, which is a music festival, probably one of the largest in the United States that runs continuously for 2 weeks. And I think at one given time, there's like 90 stages with people performing from like 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. every day for 2 weeks.
Heard you have two offices in Milwaukee and Chicago. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So once again, we're super excited to be going into our almost into our 6th year. And with that 6th year came the building and the transitioning of our strategic plan, which is being a Midwest based company. So not only having an office in Milwaukee, but having an office in Chicago. So as of last month, we opened the doors to a small office in Wicker Park, which we're excited about to start our footprint in Chicago, where we're still focusing in on feature films, whether those are documentaries, whether those are narratives. Also, we have our branded storytelling content, which is focusing in on short form videos for companies and or nonprofits, whether you're telling a story about your brand or your service or a campaign or even a short documentary that you might need to be told about a story. That's something that we could bring to life. That's what we want to do. So we're super excited about being able to be in Chicago, build here as well, and also be able to work with a lot of the artists here.
Where can we find you on social media?
So you can find me on all platforms at Wardlaw Production. So that is on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then for Twitter, you can actually find me at Ty Wardlaw. And then also you can come to our website, email us. Once again, we're looking to reach out and expand with creatives, whether that's hiring, whether that's working on projects or partnering up with organizations. So you can find us on our website at wardlawtv.com.
Got you. And for everyone, that's Wardlaw, Wardlaw.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyshun. It was great to talk to you and good luck with everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited.